controller down here that doesn't get in the way of the movie. It's just like pretty much all you'll need. Pause, play, and stop. It's pretty sweet. Doesn't get in the way at all, and it's unobtrusive, I guess you could say. But that's another nice little feature about MPlayer. With VLC, however, and when you maximized, used to be when you brought your mouse down, you would get some of the controls down here. I don't see that option anymore. They don't display for me. But again, that covers the difference between VLC and MPlayer. Now, there's two other things, or the two audio players we're going to go through real quick. And we're going to discuss the difference between Audacious and XMMS. I believe Audacious is actually just XMMS with a whole new front end and some other things. But by default, XMMS, also called Audio Player in your menu, will look like this. And I don't think I have extra skins installed. Let's find out. Yeah, you have the option to install extra skins for XMMS, and you could change between them. I used to use this one, the Cinestar. A lot of people use this one, but anymore I just leave it on the, and I lost it, right? I just leave it on that anymore. It's an audio player, but telling something to open with XMMS does not necessarily open XMMS and start playing it. It opens XMMS and puts it in XMMS's playlist to play, but does not automatically play it. That's the only aggravating thing about it that I don't like. Let me try to find... Where the hell did my... There it is. Anyway, for example, we will tell it to open with audio player. Well, you can't see nothing because I got the playlist hidden. But if you open the playlist, actually here, let's remove all. If you open the playlist, you'll see that it puts it in a playlist, but it doesn't play it automatically. You actually have to hit play. And the other thing that I like about XMMS is the difference between XMMS and, let's open Audacious or Audacity. No, it is Audacious. Audacious is pretty much just like XMMS, except that I think it looks better. I really like the way Audacious looks, but the problem is there's one option XMMS still has that Audacious doesn't. Other than that, you can install all the plugins that this has. You can install them for this. But the thing you can do with this one is right-click on the file or a series of files and go to Remove and then Miscellaneous and physically delete them from your file system. This is good for people like me. They have 13,000 MP3s from over 470 albums and put it on random play. And to save file system space, if you hear a song you really just do not like, you can delete it and get it off your system. And it's a really nice feature. With Audacious, you cannot do that, but it looks better. And I believe if you open with Audacious, as you can see, it plays it immediately. But anyway, Audacious looks better altogether. In my opinion, it's just every bit of it looks better. And it also has, if you hover over the song you're listening to, watch it prove me a liar now. Oh, no, you got to right-click on it and go to View to Track Details. You can actually edit the ID3 tag in the file. The MP3 tag that you see when you're playing it on an MP3 player, that's called an ID tag. And there's ID2 and ID3 tags, which is the same thing, just two different versions of the tag. And you can actually edit it right from Audacious, which you cannot do with XMMS. You go to View File Info with XMMS, and you just get a little pop-up box with a file name. That's it. So XMMS has a one-up on Audacious because it can physically delete crap from the file system, but Audacious allows you to edit the MP3 tag for the files, which you cannot do with XMMS. Alright, that covers the difference between these two. To open and both of them, playing file lists are pretty much the same thing. You go to, if you right click in the playlist area, which you can show and not show by clicking on the little PL button right here for playlist. If you right click, you can go down to, it's actually different between the two. Let me go through it with XMMS first. Right click, go to remove all, and it just empties the playlist. Right click, go to add, and you can add a file, or which is kind of pointless, otherwise you could just open the damn file by itself. If you're going to add to the playlist, might as well add a directory. And you can just click on a directory. For example, here I've got a language directory, and inside my language directory is two more directories, one for German and one for Tagalog. And then you can open the language directory, and it will look recursively inside that directory and open all further directories and look recursively inside them for files, and then add them to the playlist. And then you've got that going on. I mean, you got a big long playlist like this, it's usually good to hit random, which is this button here on the left, and both of them have it. Random and repeat. That way it continues cycling through all your hundreds of thousands of MP3s. Let's see. And then go to remove. And you can actually remove just a selection. Remember the principles I taught you about the FTP client, if you've seen that video. If you hit shift and then go down, it selects a region. And then you can go to remove selected, or you can go to remove all. Just remember not to remove miscellaneous and remove physical files. Anyway, selection, I'm not going to get into that. Sort is actually something to pay attention to. If you're loading a long playlist that's pulled out of your file system, you should probably select the option to sort list by path then file name together. And let me see if I could find it here. Probably not. It's probably directly in preferences. Appearance, yeah. Audacious has a nice interface where XMMS is really simple, and as you can see, it looks like you've got all of XMMS's skins available for Audacious. And for example, almost can't tell the difference between them, can you? Alright, playlist, here it is. Go down here to playlist, and you will say song display, file name, metadata. I know the options in here. Huh. Well, I don't see it, and I'm going to spend half an hour looking for it. Alright, what was the other thing I wanted to cover? With this one, to add directories. To add directories with Audacious is different than it is with XMMS. With Audacious, you have to go to play location. If you go to play file, I think it expects you to actually select a single file. For example, I don't think that you can just click on a directory and click, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so it looks like play location is the URL direction. Okay, I had that backwards. Alright, so anyway, if you want to add to a playlist, you would select play file with Audacious. And it's evidently got some kind of options for visualizations and playback, etc., etc. I don't mess with any of that stuff. And I'm trying to think what this would be. Yeah, I cannot find the option to set it to sort. But anyway, that's how that's what the difference is between Audacious and XMMS. And the next one I'm going to cover, when you're ripping CDs, a lot of the times it will, Now there's a G-Rip, I believe, that's available to rip CDs, but G-Rip is not for the beginner. It's got too many advanced options. The interface is too complicated. This little sound juicer program that's available, it's actually very good for the beginner. You just pop in your CD